Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 38 of the Video Games Ahoy podcast. My name is Jonathan Radford, and today I'm joined by Daf Gape,
Jonathan,
and Zach Hamilton.
Radford. That's quite a good way of introducing all three of us at once.
Yeah, that was quite a good way. How are you doing, gents?
Oh, I'm so good.
I didn't know if there was anything coming after the I just thought that was it.
I kind of thought there might have been like a delay in the audio. So good.
Baby. Yeah, you doing okay?
The best news in my life. Let's go.
Pikachu? Oh, just no. Okay. Let's move on. I actually really enjoyed that game. Like, I know it sounds weird because a lot of people don't enjoy those games, but I actually really enjoyed it.
Wait, what game are you talking about?
Let's Go Pikachu. I actually really enjoyed that. I really quite liked it.
I mean, look, if you want, this is the thing. Is like this is my whole point about Pokemon. Is like Pokemon's great, but grinding is not always that great unless you're really into. So I like that. I think I never played it, but I think the idea of just being able to fly through a game that you loved. Yeah, that's good. It's a bit like Wind Waker getting the update and not having to do the dog shit parts.
Yeah,
you know what
it was
I mean?
it was super easy as well. It was like 20 hours, and it was just
for me. Little jaunt.
It's the only game. I don't know why we're talking about. This is not my intention. It's just Let's Go Pikachu. Just happened to be.
Because there's no news this week. So we're just talking about Let's Go Pikachu.
Let's just talk about Let's Go Pikachu.
I really liked the little add-ons. I obviously hated the battle system because it was garbage and it was from Pokemon Go. But I really liked the bit where you're like playing as Pikachu and you have to go up the bit in the power plant. I was like, ooh, I didn't do this in Pokemon Yellow.
It was just for me personally, as someone that has only ever really played Red and Blue, it was perfect. Like I probably wouldn't play Red and Blue again.
10 out of 10, Jonathan Radford, Video Games Ahoy.
The only Pokemon game I will recommend, along with Pokemon Snap and Stadium. But anyway,
wait, you didn't play any other Pokemon games?
Literally, I've not played any other Pokemon game. I played more of the. I said this previously. I played more of the side games than the mainline Pokemon games.
The Psyduck games.
So hey, I still know loads about Pokemon. I have all like the first 150 cards like in the pack.
Well, you have all of them?
Yeah, all the 150, the original ones.
Even Yuri Geller.
Yeah, well, yeah, he is there. just see him bending a spoon. But yeah, should we talk about the podcast? Because I feel like we've gone way off topic.
Should we do the thing we came to do?
We're not like, so basically we're not a Pokemon podcast. I mean, we like a bit of Pokemon, but we're not an official Pokemon podcast. Maybe that's what we should do.
I think so.
But if you are listening to this podcast for the first time, then hello. We're Video Games Ahoy. And if you know us well, then welcome back. Like I always say, we put these episodes out every Saturday morning where you can listen to us via the podcast hosting site of your choice. But if you want to see these deliciously dreamy mugs of ours, oh yeah, Dav, then we're also on YouTube, so check us out there too. And stick around until the end because we'll have a quick chat about the Patreon page and what we offer over there. And just again, as ever, thank you so much to everyone that contributes. We really appreciate it. We've got some. I think we've got some exciting ideas and plans for this year, and we couldn't do them without your support. So thank you very much. Right, gents, let's go into the news because there's a lot of good news to talk about. Actually, normally we have like lots of like really depressing stuff, and it's like the big things in gaming. But you know what? Most of the news for this week is actually pretty good. Let's start with, I think, the biggest thing to talk about, and let's go back to 2020 just ever so quickly. The Nintendo Switch was the best-selling console for the week ending December 26th, according to VGC chart estimates, which means the Nintendo Switch has now overtaken the 3DS officially. 76 million Switches have been sold, and 75 million units of the 3DS were sold. So
that's mad.
Yep, and it's done it in again half the time. Which
the Wii only did like 100, right?
Well, that's actually said the next realistic, because I think Game Boy Advance is like 80, but Switch is going to overtake that in the next year. I think there was another one as well. I think it wasn't
the
DS. The DS 150. DS is the second best-selling console of all time. Is that ridiculous.
Including all the DSs though?
After what? PS2?
It includes not the 3DSs. It includes the DS.
It includes like DS,
DSi,
DSi, DS Lite.
Yeah, all those.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
it is
a bit playing fast and loose with.
Well, it's a really good point. It's a really good point. But I mean, the number one bestseller is PlayStation 2.
I had friends who had the DS, the DS Lite, the DSi. All of them. You know, they'd always get the new ones. So I don't know. I feel like if.
Well, it's I guess in the same way, it's kind of like when PlayStation 4 released the 4 Pro and when the Xbox One released the One X as well. I do see what you mean though. I guess for me it always depends on how big that jump is. How big is that jump, and does it stop you from playing games on the old console, which it did with the new 3DS, for instance. It did actually stop you from playing them, but yeah, like you said, Dav, the Wii is the next one in the real target in sight, which is 102 million. I think Switch could easily get that in the next. Well, I think the next 2 years we'll see the Switch become the best-selling home console Nintendo's ever had.
Home console.
Yes, which is crazy considering the previous one was the Wii U. But I think a lot of people make this point about the Wii U and that they made so many. There was a lot of things they learned from the Wii U, like a lot of mistakes they made. And when you see like the Wii U gamepad, you kind of see that's where they were going with the Switch anyway. That's essentially what they ended up doing with the Switch.
Exactly the same.
It's the gamepad, but
it's
transportable. So
when they did the 2017 presentation back in January 2017, and they talked about like every console up to the Switch, and they were saying, right, well, we got the A and the B buttons from the NES and the NES, and then we got this from the SNES, and they're like, we got the transportability from the GameCube. I'm like, no. And then they're like, and we got the gamepad from the Wii U, and it's like, well, yeah. And like Breath of the Wild is the perfect example of like, you can see there's a clear evolution in these consoles.
Wasn't it 4 years ago, like either today or yesterday, where they had that Nintendo Direct? I'm fairly sure I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because I think someone posted on Twitter earlier saying the Breath of the Wild trailer before the amazing, and it is amazing. If you've never seen that Breath of the Wild 2017 trailer, please check it out. It's so good.
I love that trailer.
It's one of the best trailers I've ever seen of a video game. It's so good. But yeah, check it out.
That's the one with the voice acting and stuff, right?
Yeah, it is. And everyone was like, voice acting?
Everyone gives the voice acting a hard time, and I think even if you don't like it in the actual game, that trailer, I think it works very, very well.
I liked it. I mean, they didn't overdo it.
Fine.
It's fine. It's not bad. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad. And yeah, I was happy with it. But yeah, Nintendo Switch had a pretty crazy 2020, and we'll get onto that a little bit later on as well.
It probably helps that the Wii U was so garbage.
Dav's crusade against the Wii U is becoming an actual thing.
I'm going to play Wii U on the stream this weekend.
I said to Dav when
I'll log into our Twitch channel and delete you.
When I was on stream, Dav was saying that one of his pals was saying that he just has a vendetta against the Wii U, and I was saying that next Christmas we should all chip in and buy him a Wii U with Nintendo Land, and that's it. That's the only game he has. Is
no
Nintendo
other
Land.
games.
No other games.
Yeah.
Or just Wii games.
just Wii games.
That's all they had.
All right, let's move on because we're going to stay on top of video game sales and stuff. So Chris Wallace at MCV UK has reported that the video games industry generated 4.2 billion in revenue in the UK in 2020, the first time it had breached the 4 billion threshold. The figures come from preliminary data compiled by the Entertainment Retailers Association, who estimate that entertainment revenues as a whole increased by 16.8 to a record 9 billion. Just hearing that though, it does already. Okay, so video games actually get to the point now where, and it gets onto this, where video games make twice as much money as music, and it already makes, and digital sales on their own make more than films, which is actually, I think sometimes people actually forget how big a deal video. And obviously this is a video game podcast, so we know, but a lot of people actually don't realize how big a deal it is. It is huge.
Stop watching your films, you nerds.
Join us. Let me just. I've just got a little snippet here as well. So the digital games business, which ranges from mobile and stream games to downloads, grew by 16.3% to 3.6 billion in 2020. So that means 1/3 of all of the money spent, all the money made on any kind of media in the UK in 2020. 1/3 of it was just digital sales. That doesn't include physical sales, which is absolutely bonkers.
I mean, obviously lockdowns and whatnot will have assisted that, but it's a big step towards where we're heading anyway, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think we'll ever be all digital. I think for what I think we'll always have discs.
Yes.
Because there'll always be people who want discs.
Mm-hmm.
Even if, like, basically all they are now is you pop in the disc, it tells the company, oh, this person has a license to play this game. Let's download the game for them.
Yeah.
Like with Yakuza, like the whole game's installed on the hard drive on my Xbox. Like, the disc is literally just to tell them I can play it.
Yeah, you can play it. Yeah, it's authorization basically. That's all it is. You might as well just have a code, and then that's it. Like that just comes. Yeah, you might as well. The disc doesn't really do anything. And the thing is, once you make a really good point actually, because Nintendo doesn't do that. Do they? Like that is the thing with the Switch games. At least you can just play them straight off the cart. But yeah, you're totally right. Because I'll talk about this a little bit later on when we get on to Star Wars. Because Star Wars is something we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I actually downloaded Jedi Fallen Order. And I realized that like I couldn't just play it straight off the disc. I had to re-download it, so I had to make sure like an hour in advance that I before we recorded this podcast that I could have a go. I was like, oh, okay, well I'm gonna have to download it again, and I'm gonna chat about that later. By the way, because I'm very very annoyed.
I actually had the opposite problem this week. I went to put in Rayman Legends, maybe whichever one it was. And I was like, right, well, I would definitely want to play it tonight, so I'm going to put it in and download it. I was like, aha, I'm ahead of you. I got you this time, PlayStation. And then it just started playing. And I was like, what? I guess it's because it's such a small game, comparatively.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
But for the most part, I agree with you. I actually find it kind of enraging that I have to like think about what I'm going to play for the next few days.
I remember that, though. I remember because there was I think it was the PlayStation 3 that introduced because I don't remember the Xbox 360 doing that. The PlayStation 3, I remember specifically my friend had a PlayStation 3 and he was playing Resident Evil 5, I think it was. And I remember him downloading it. I was over his house and we just sat there for about an hour as he's downloading it. I was like, what? What is this? That was, again, like probably about 10, 12 years ago. But yeah, it's mad. All right, let's move on. We're going to stick with Nintendo, though, because they've actually shared more details on the upcoming Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. And it looks awesome. It looks awesome. I'm just putting it out there.
I haven't seen this yet.
Oh, Zach.
Oh my god.
So I would watch the 7-minute video rather than the 2. They released a 2-minute video yesterday and they released a 7-minute video today. Watch the 7-minute video because it goes into more depth.
Video.
Yeah, it's really good.
Bowser's Fury?
So basically, so this is the thing. This is the conversation we're going to have. I think personally, it's Odyssey. The way, like free roaming camera, open worlds, essentially like Odyssey, but with the assets from 3D World, and it kind of feels like they might have started making DLC for Odyssey, and they were like, "Well, we're going to release 3D World anyway.
Let's get people to actually buy it by popping this on top."
Exactly. So maybe that's why there's been no DLC for Odyssey. This is just me speculating. I have no idea, but like,
so is it Galaxy 2 but Odyssey 2?
No, it's like a brand new experience. Honestly, it's like I don't know how long it's going to be. It looks like it could be like 5 hours, but it's sounds interesting. Brand new game,
but tied to a game from a dead console.
Well, I have a question. So if it's going to be 5 hours long, how much do you think it's going to go for?
Oh, it's full. Well, it's full price, isn't it? Because it's
full
a remaster because it's 3D World as well from the Wii U.
Plus Bowser's Fury.
Bowser's Fury.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I do think that's shady. Like, I do think that's like that's a game from 2014, maybe something like that.
Well, tacking onto Dav's dead console argument, I guess the argument would be even if every single person that had a Wii U bought a Switch, there's still like 60 million people that haven't played Super Mario 3D World, and I guess that's the reason why they can still go. It's a new game. Again, I love Nintendo. It's a new game to me. It's a brand new Mario game. So like, not even just Bowser's Fury. It's the 3D world. So I totally get where you're coming from, though, Zach. It is a bit like anyone that has played those games, anyone that did buy a Wii U is kind of going, I'm buying this for Bowser's Fury and maybe a chance to replay 3D World.
I'm really torn because I really enjoyed 3D Land on the 3DS, but I don't know if I enjoyed it enough to be like, oh, I need 3D World.
Yeah.
And but Bowser's Fury looks bloody good. I'm so tempted. I've got another Nintendo token that I can spend on any game. I might pre-order it. I'm not sure.
It's online multiplayer. So if
really?
Dav Weeks get, I'm gonna get it. If Dav Weeks get it, then we can you know what I mean. It's very tempting. It's very because that was my first thought because I want to play with Rosie as well. But yeah, definitely check out the video though, Zach. It looks.
I just had a little quick gander while we were going because I wanted to kind of get a feel for it, but I haven't got time because we're in the middle of a show.
Wait, what are we doing?
Well, yeah, have a look afterwards. It looks great. They're actually releasing a red Mario Switch as well.
Oh, it looks so nice.
It looks beautiful.
It looks so nice.
It looks so good. It looks so good. Yeah, it looks absolutely great. So yeah, check that out as well. I definitely would have a look at that. Awesome. So I mentioned earlier Star Wars. They actually released a patch for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S, which meant higher frame rates, dynamic resolution ranges, although didn't they say that PlayStation 5 wasn't doing dynamic resolution or something? Like there was something.
So yeah, PS5 isn't doing dynamic resolution and is stuck at 1200p.
Yeah, there we are. I don't know why.
Because the PS5 can run 1200p or 4K, but can't run 1440p, which is what the Xbox Series S can do.
Right.
So technically, the Series S can run it at a higher resolution than the PS5.
That's so weird. But I actually, like I said earlier, I actually downloaded it and I gave it a go before we started this. And I'm actually really annoyed that I didn't play it. Like, I'm really annoyed that I played it then and not now, because all of the problems that I had with it seem to have been fixed purely based on 60 frames per second. And it doesn't seem like I played it for about 20 minutes. There was no frame rate dips, no glitches. I mean, the combat's still the same, so obviously that's a thing, but at least everything will be quicker. You know what I mean? It's like everything speeds up because obviously it's the refresh rate is higher, and I'm just annoyed that I didn't play it that I'm not playing it now, and I played it back on the old base level PS4. But
if you
looks
get an
gorgeous.
If you get an Xbox, you'll be glad to hear it's on Game Pass.
It is on Game Pass. Everybody gets one. That's Dab Weeks. Well, one.
One of my friends came to me and was recommending Games Pass to me this week, and I just burst out laughing. I was just like, have you been watching our show?
Yeah. I said this last time, but we really need like a counter next to Dav where like every time it gets mentioned, it just goes ding.
We'll have one Game Pass for me, Last of Us 2 for Zach.
Yeah.
And Nintendo for Johnny.
I was going to say Nintendo
no, Breath of the Wild. It's Breath of the Wild for Johnny.
It's Breath of the Wild.
I actually made a little sign one week that I was going to hold up, and then you never said it.
I never said it. See, Breath of the Wild.
It's got it.
I mean, I did mention it today. I mentioned the trailer, so you could have used it. But yeah, okay. We're going to stick with Nintendo just a little bit because the Monster Hunter Rise has now got a really cool-looking demo. I tried it for about 5 minutes. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but it looked nice. And it's
free. Play it
free.
Together.
Yeah, we should, because I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. But it's out until February the 1st. What the demo is, and you can use it online. You can play with your friends. Yeah, it looks really good. It looks really good, and yeah, I think that's going to be a huge seller for the Switch. I don't know if I'll buy it, even though I like the look. I know it sounds weird. I like the look of it, but I've never been able to get into a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
So I might have to save my pennies for something else. But
I thought it was going to be available with the Nintendo game vouchers.
Is it not?
No, because I pre-ordered Bravely Default 2.
Right.
Which now means I have to play Bravely Default 1.
Amazing.
Before it comes out.
And second.
And Bravely Second, yeah. I've got both. I just need to get through them. But I need to so many games.
Yeah.
Blessing in disguise. But yeah, I was really hoping Monster Hunter Rise because I thought it was being published by Nintendo. If it's had 2 Nintendo Directs and it's not even.
Yeah, well, it's not. Apparently, it's coming out on the PC within 6 months after it gets released on the Switch, which is technically, I guess, not an exclusive. Well, I guess it is an exclusive, a console exclusive,
yeah.
or a timed exclusive. Yeah, but yeah, check it out if you like Monster Hunter games. I imagine you already have, but it's available until the 1st of February. Let's keep moving on. Just loads of cool stuff. So Mass Effect Legendary Edition is coming out soon, according to Tom Phillips from Eurogamer. Apparently, there's been loads of listings saying it's coming out the 12th of March this year, although EA is yet to officially announce a date. There's been a couple of shops. I think one of them is in Singapore, and then an Indonesian outlet has both had it for the same day, which is, again, this is the 12th of March. So, yeah, I'll definitely be buying that because those, I've said this millions of times on this channel, but those games are some of my favorite up until the last 10 minutes or the last half an hour of 3, and then it ruins everything. But yeah, check them out if you've never played Mass Effect. I would highly recommend them. They are brilliant storytelling. Yeah, let's move on. So this is the big one. This is the one we've been holding out for, Dav in particular. So Star Wars and Disney have firstly announced that Lucasfilm Games is now the official identity for all game titles from Lucasfilm. So it's not, it used to be LucasArts, didn't it? But now it's Lucasfilm Games. So yeah, so that's a thing now. They've brought that back because I think they stopped doing it in 2013. So they brought it back. They're on Twitter and Facebook as well, so check them out there. And the reason why you should check them out is because they just announced 2 brand new games. The first game is very interesting. That was announced today. That is a Star Wars game with Ubisoft. And apparently it's going to be an open world Star Wars game. The reason why that's interesting, because it means that EA no longer will have, I guess, an exclusive right to the Star Wars brand, which is a huge thing.
Yeah, their exclusive rights deal ends in 2023. So it means we're obviously not seeing this game for a while.
Yeah.
But brilliant that they get to announce it, and it's made by Massive Entertainment, which is the Ubisoft studio behind the Division 2.
Division 2, yeah.
Which really excites me because they know how to build the kind of open world where there's heavy customization and great shooting, great physics, lots of really nice sort of lots of post-game content.
Yeah.
And oh my god, imagine the Division 2 but Star Wars.
I was gonna say, how do you think they're gonna go? Do you think they're gonna go down the Jedi route, or do you think they'll do something interesting and different, like with bounty hunters and stuff? Because there was that. Was it 1717?
1313.
1313. There we are. 1717.
It was a prime number, just not that one.
Just not that one. But yeah, because loads of people were gutted when that got cancelled.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It looked great.
It looked like Star Wars Uncharted.
Yeah,
which is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
This, I think, more likely is going to be along the Blasters route, so it'll be like a bounty hunter kind of game, I reckon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like Rebel Alliance, something like that.
Yeah.
But man, I'm hella excited.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't wait.
I'm just really glad that they finally opened up Star Wars to more companies to be able to make Star Wars games, because I don't particularly think EA have done a great job. They've done an okay job, but when you think of the output, it's been what?
2 Battlefront games. Fallen Order,
and Rogue
Squadrons.
There we are, Squadrons, not Rogue Squadron, just Squadrons.
Did they do Force Awakens or whichever one it was, or Force Unleashed?
No,
that was just before EA took them over. So and I think that's the thing, when you look at what they've actually given us, a Jedi Fallen Order is by far and away their best game. But even I would rather EA have just concentrated on that game and made that game as good as it could have possibly been, and just like I said, Ubisoft to make another game that's completely different, which is what it seems like they're going to do. The thing I'm really happy about, and we'll move on to the next game just very quickly. We'll probably talk about the next game a little bit less. It's just that Disney have finally gone, we should be making Star Wars games all the time, because everyone, Star Wars games, for whatever reason, have always done well in video games. I don't know what it is.
Because we're nerds.
But they've always translated well, and there's always been good Star Wars games. There's always been, for whatever reason, they just seem to work. So Disney have...
I think it might have something to do with the fact that, the Star Wars universe has been very flexible. There's so many different ways you can go with it. As you said, you could go with the bounty hunter thing, or the Jedi thing, or you can go with, and so it doesn't feel like if it was just Jedis, and we were talking about when first person shooters were the height of AAA gaming, you'd be going, right, well, how do we translate this? You don't, you know what I mean? It would be a stupid idea. The reason that Battlefront works, in so many ways, is because there is an element of shooters, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you've got games like was it Star Wars on the SNES? I can't remember what it's called. Super
Star Wars.
Super Star Wars?
Yeah.
That's a stupid name.
Yeah.
But that works really well because it's the Jedi, and you can do all of the nice acrobatics and shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's a very versatile series.
I mean, that is to EA's credit. They did at least release 4 games, but 3 of them were very, very different. Very different games what they released. But at least here's hoping that more companies get a chance to make games, because at least then they can just focus on making that one game as good as it can be. The second game I'm going to talk about is, and this is a slightly more interesting, is an Indiana Jones game made by Bethesda, and not just specifically within Bethesda. Have you not heard about this?
Dude, I have been not keeping up this week.
Oh,
clearly.
man.
Jesus.
The last 2 days have been
this.
crazy. Yeah, new Indiana Jones game made by who, Dav?
Machine Games.
Machine Games. And
yes.
Tell everyone who Machine Games, what they've made, Dav. I'm sure you'll delight in telling us.
They've made the new Wolfenstein games. Wolfenstein: The New Order, Old Blood, New Colossus, and Youngblood.
Yep. My
God, this is one of my favourite development studios of all time. Wolfenstein: The New Order and Wolfenstein New Colossus are two of my top games of the last gen. Two of my top 5 games, like easy, hands down. They have re-sparked the idea of a first-person shooter having a distinctly unique, interesting narrative that can delve into ethics and philosophy and also like hardcore blowing shit up, killing Mecha Hitler. So I'm so excited. Like, it was just such a perfect marriage because obviously indie killing Nazis, right?
Yeah.
But also with indie there is that like mystic sci-fi-ish kind of element to them, and that is one of my favorite parts of the Wolfenstein games, is this sort of ancient Jewish technology that they discover, and sort of how that sort of intertwined into the world of it and the weird science and all the rest of it. And I'm so looking forward to it. Original story as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the one thing I was going to say, and this is what I love. I mean, we previously had Indiana Jones games, but like, how do you see them going about it? Do you see them going first person, and focusing on shooting, considering the heritage of the company, or do you think they go third person, a bit more action adventure-y, like Uncharted? I guess that's where comparisons would come in.
I think first person. I don't know, because you want to see Indy.
You want to see Indy, don't you? You want to see him.
You also want to be Indy.
How does the whip work in first person?
Oh, they do weapons excellently, Machine Games. I have no concern about them working out how to do a whip. But I think, you're going to see a lot of whip action, a lot of pistol action, a lot of fisticuffs.
Here's my pitch for it.
Okay.
I would like it solely to be mocapped and modelled by Shia LaBeouf.
Please.
Because he did the last film.
Yeah.
And then they did this whole thing where they were like, oh, we're going to do a whole franchise just with Shia LaBeouf. And then they were like, everyone hates Crystal Skull, never again.
Yeah. Why aliens? Why put aliens
Why
in
aliens?
Why fridges? I mean, that's another thing as well.
Oh, yeah, he gets in a fridge.
Just gets in a fridge and gets blown like across the country. Yeah. But yeah, new Indiana Jones game, Machine Games, awesome company. I think the one thing we haven't mentioned, I don't know whether it's going to be exclusive or timed, because it's Disney. I think Disney might say to Bethesda, this has to be on all the consoles at least.
Tell that to Marvel Spider-Man.
Well, that is the thing. I guess it depends whether Bethesda have gone, and I guess it depends again, because Bethesda have signed this deal before they've technically signed with Xbox, whether they agreed to make the game for the other consoles yet. We don't really know until obviously Xbox sign with Bethesda in about 6 months' time. We don't actually know, but we'll see. We definitely know what's coming on the Xbox. So
you can bet if it's not currently going to be exclusive, you can bet your ass that Xbox are trying their very hardest to change those contracts to make it exclusive.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Indiana Jones is going to sell, like you said, Spider-Man. Indiana Jones will sell games purely based on the name. Right, let's keep moving on. Okay, we're coming on to the last two things. The first thing is Microsoft. So this is actually a really funny story, actually. Microsoft attempted to buy Nintendo when it was making the Xbox. Have you heard of this story?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's really funny. So Microsoft, this is the story I read the other day. So Microsoft attempted to buy Nintendo when it was making the Xbox, but the Japanese company apparently laughed their asses off for an entire hour. A director for third-party relations on the Xbox project told Bloomberg that the company attempted to buy developers in order to ensure that there were games available for its first console. Steve Ballmer, a chief executive officer of Microsoft from 2000 to 2014, made us go meet... Oh, this is a quote, by the way. Made us go meet with Nintendo to see if they would consider being acquired. They just laughed their asses off. Like, an hour. Imagine an hour of somebody just laughing at you. That was kind of how the meeting went. I don't know what it is that makes me think this is hilarious.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Because, like, I just... Because the one thing they said, apparently they went in there, and this is another quote as well. They said that the pitch to Nintendo was basically that your hardware stinks. You can focus on the games. You know how to make games. We'll figure out how to make the best hardware. And they're not wrong on the hardware side. They've made the some of the strongest consoles in history. But apparently Nintendo just laughed them out of the room. And
it's just the American white man arrogance of it all, isn't it? It's like coming in and going, "You need us." They're like, "No, we don't."
Yeah, we definitely don't.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the GameCube was the console that came out after they laughed their asses out, so maybe they probably shouldn't have laughed. So, I mean, I love the GameCube, and I will not have a bad word said about it.
Xbox 360 doesn't have a Game Boy Advance adapter.
Well, the Xbox One, the original Xbox, not the Xbox One, sold more than the GameCube. So,
which is mental.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I just found that story really funny.
It's not even remotely as good.
But it's because of the American market.
It was, 100%.
Which isn't like, it's not the sole biggest market. Like, China's obviously a huge market. But like, Japan love a handheld and love a mobile game. And, you'd have been buying, Game Boy Advance SPs, Game Boy Advances at that time. Like, I imagine they massively outsold the Xbox.
Absolutely, so. Well, I think, again, like you said earlier, the Game Boy Advance, it sold, I think it was 85 million units. I mean, the runaway leader across the world and the best-selling console of all time was the PlayStation 2, which sold 150 million units.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. But I guess that was around the time as well where PlayStation was really a big deal in Japan. It's really not that big a deal in Japan anymore. Like, I remember I read the other day that the PlayStation 5 had the worst console launch in Japan of the PlayStation consoles. I think something along those lines where like it was definitely worse than 3 and 4, which is
wow.
But the Nintendo Switch in Japan is, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, if you've ever seen a top 10 best-selling games list in Japan, it's like 8 out of 10, sometimes 9, sometimes 10 out of 10. The games are all Switch. The Switch is just kicked off, and
almost all of them are Nintendo first parties.
Yeah, which is unbelievable. And finally, this is the last bit of Nintendo, and this is sad, but I want to talk about it anyway. So, a memorial compilation of writings from and about the late Nintendo president Satoru Iwata will be published in English this spring, according to Polygon. Titled "Ask Iwata," the book contains excerpts from his popular series of public-facing Iwata Asks, where he spoke to Nintendo developers, as well as recollections from Nintendo luminaries who knew him best. The book was published in Japan in 2019 as Iwata-san by Hobonichi, a company founded by Shigesato Itoi, the creator of Earthbound. And Iwata was Itoi's colleague at HAL Laboratory, where the studio behind Kirby, and he was also the producer on Earthbound. I just wanted to mention that at the end because I love that. I love that like so much. I was watching videos of him the other day, and sometimes it's really sad when you just see how much he loved video games. Not even in a way where he's the president of Nintendo. He's a corporate guy essentially, wasn't he? He's this big guy at Nintendo, and at the same time, you just knew how much he loved playing games. And I think there was that I don't know. There's something about that. I'm gonna buy this book. I know. I've already spoken to Rosie about it. I was like, if you want to get me a present, get this. Just don't just let me know if you're gonna get it, so I don't buy it for myself. But yeah, I just thought I'd chuck that up there because I thought that was really, really nice way to end it. Iwata Asks, and it's coming out in English soon. Gents, that's it for the news. Should we talk about games we've been playing? Zach, do you want to go first? Because you said you had quite a few.
Yeah, I have a couple. I got some of the... What have I been playing? Well, the first thing I played was Shadow of Tomb Raider, because that was out on the
That's free, yeah.
PlayStation thing. And I played Rise of Tomb Raider, which was the second one in the series. There was the first one, then Rise, and then this one.
Yeah.
And I quite liked Rise when I
love
played it. I played
Rise.
it about four years ago, probably, maybe 5 years ago. And I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't groundbreaking. It had its problems. I remember some of the death animations feeling a little bit clunky, and there was some stuff that wasn't quite right. But for all intents and purposes, the combat felt pretty good. Shooting was all pretty nice, and getting around was kind of fun in a kind of updated Uncharted kind of way. It had some nice cinematic sequences, and the plot was fine. It was fine.
Serviceable.
serviceable. I didn't have any problems with it. So I had a nice time with it, and I played it all the way to the end, and I probably did a couple of side pieces, even stuff called a side mission, which is pretty good for a 15-hour odd game. I guess it would have been 15 hours. So I picked up Shadow Tomb Raider thinking, all right, it'll be the same. There'll just be more of it. This will be fine. Something about it from the off felt a little different. Couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. A lot of the assets had been obviously brought over from the last game, which was, so a lot of like the mechanics and stuff, but something about it, I think the main thing is actually the combat feels really junky. Like shooting doesn't feel good. Shooting feels very kind of. I feel like modern third-person shooters are pretty good at making a gunfire feel like I fired a gun. This really felt like a squirt gun. Like I'm shooting down all these guys, and it's just like something. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger quite on it. And then I went and had a look to figure out, because I thought maybe it was a new company. Because to be fair, actually, some of the character models and stuff do look a little tweaked. And it turns out that actually, indeed, the Shadow of Tomb Raider, whatever it's called, is primarily with a different developer. So there's the issue.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not going to play it anymore. I played a couple hours, and it really just doesn't feel worth it.
Yeah.
It also has a bit of a sin that I'm not a big fan of, where it starts out with.
Was it all a dream?
No. It starts out with like a plane crash, and she's like running around trying to get like a parachute or whatever. I don't know what she's trying to do. She's sorting shit out, and then it cuts to black, like right as it crashes. And I sat there. Honestly, I wish I'd streamed this, because I sat and I said, if it says 3 weeks earlier, if it fucking does that shit, and immediately it goes 2 days earlier, and I was like,
it's just, that's Uncharted. That's Uncharted 2.
The problem with it as well is because right when you go back to the 2 days earlier, you're in another exciting sequence that they could have just as easily started with, and would have been just as engaging as the opener of a game. I don't get it. So yeah, I don't know if I would totally recommend, but as I say, when I played Rise of Tomb Raider 5 years ago, I had fun with that, and maybe it's actually much more similar than I'm remembering, and it's me that's changed. But
you've changed, man.
I don't think it's you though, because we've mentioned Tomb Raider a lot recently, and so I've just been looking like reviews of all three of the games, and there's definitely a change, because the reviews for the first two games were, there was a lot of praise for it, and it was if we're using Metacritic as an example, it was like mid 80s, mid to high 80s, whereas this was in the 70s. It
was 75, I think, on Metacritic.
Yeah, it was not the.
It's still a pretty good score, but I don't think it actually deserves 75.
I
think
that's
beautiful.
The thing, isn't it?
It looks very nice in the way that AAA games do now. Obviously,
it was noticeable reading some of the reviews that this game is not as good, and if that's exactly what you're saying,
that's and I didn't look into anything before I played it. I really did just try to go into it fresh, but I won't be going back to it. I also picked up Greedfall, which is also free right now, on PlayStation 4 and 5 stuff, and I haven't got very far into it, but it's slow and it's confusing. I think the combat might be really good. I think it might be really good. I'm not sure yet. I haven't got that far. But yeah, it's very weird. It's a weird game. It reminds me of it makes me feel like they made Fable 4 in the way that in the way that the design of the world is, and the style of conversations, and the clunkiness of the controls.
Right.
For moving around, it's very but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I haven't got that far into it. I might come back and tell you more about it next week.
Cool.
It's an interesting game thus far, and I do think that the combat might actually be pretty good once I get into it.
Awesome. Now you mentioned Fable, though, I still want to see you complete Fable 2. You started it, didn't you?
I started it with Bronwyn because I thought because it's not a very difficult game in terms of combat, and it's quite engaging and it's fun and whatever. I don't think she was enjoying it very much, so enough. maybe I'll take over her file and I'll consider. But I've got a few different games actually I want to start streaming. I've got a few ideas of stuff I want to do this weekend. I've got a Wii U here, so maybe I'm going to play some Wii U games.
Yes. Yes.
Heads will roll.
Because I'm not going to have the Wii U forever. It's not mine.
You should definitely, if you've only got a limited time. I mean, I would actually really like to see you play like stuff like Nintendo World, because I've never played. Or Nintendo Land. So is Nintendo Land? Yeah, I never saw it. I never had a Wii U, so there's loads of games you talk about that I've never seen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anything else, Zach? Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, just that my PlayStation broke.
Oh,
and I don't know why. Like, it's stuck in safe mode. If anyone's ever had that problem, please get in touch, because I have you've had that exact same thing.
That's well, you because I turned mine off by so. I was about, maybe it was about a year or so into no, it must have been about 2015, because I had The Witcher 3, and The Witcher 3 didn't come out to 2015. So I, for whatever reason, turned it off at the wall. I can't remember why. I just
That's
wasn't
exactly
thinking.
what I did.
I wasn't
took the plug
thinking.
out.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking. Turned it off the wall, and then when I try to turn it on, it comes like halfway the install thing, and then stops. So it's exactly the same thing.
It's the exact same problem.
Yeah. So you've got to completely reset the entire console. It should hopefully work, but you've got to reset the whole thing. You lose everything.
Well, that's okay. I mean,
I
I was just saying to you guys, there's only one game I'm worried about losing, which is Resident Evil 7. Which I might stream on, so I can get back to where I was at least, and that might be funny for anyone who's interested in watching me shit my pants for a couple hours.
This guy, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
I really enjoy how like you're always like it makes me shit scared, and you play all of the scary games.
Scary games don't bother me at all. Like, there's something about it being on a screen where I can just be like, all right, it's not happening to me. You know what I mean? Like, well. But there's, man, I wouldn't bother with Resident Evil 7 if it wasn't for the VR.
For the VR,
VR fucks me up, man. Like, I'll be sitting, like, walking through a room, and I'm like, I know they're about to pop out. I know that's what's happening. Like, I know what horror films do. I know what it's about. But fuck, when it happens, like, it just makes me want to cry, and that to me is a real good entertainment.
Awesome.
Me and my brother played, and we kept giving each other a fright. Like, he was on the VR and he would scream, and then I would fucking scream.
Oh my god,
so good.
So yeah, we all definitely want to watch Zach scream and cry on Twitch soon. So we definitely keep an eye out for that. Awesome, Zach. Anything else?
No, that's me done. Me done. What have you been playing, Jonny?
So I'm just gonna briefly talk about one game, and then I'm just gonna briefly talk about another game very soon. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla I've been playing because I just finished playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I wanted something new to play, and I saw that it was reduced to £30 already. It's only been out like 2 months. It's the thing with Ubisoft. So I am really enjoying it, but for good and for bad, it's an Assassin's Creed game, so take that as you will. The only thing I would say is the combat, for me personally, feels worse than it used to. Whereas before the combat, because it's more of it has more elements of being an RPG now than it used to. So like you can add new armor, and you can customize your weapons and stuff. So it has more elements of that. And then I guess because of that, it doesn't feel as smooth as, say, like when you're playing Assassin's Creed 2 and you've got a sword, and you've just got a sword, and like you wait to move and you counterattack. And I get why people found that boring and they moved away from it. I understand that, but it does feel very janky. Does
it feel more RPG than, say, Odyssey or?
I didn't play Odyssey, so okay. But apparently it's the same. My brother said it's very similar. It's an RPG.
Have you played Valhalla yet?
I haven't, no.
Because I know you're catching up on the Assassin's Creed series.
Yeah, I did start catching up, and I made my way through quite a lot of them, for better or worse. I got to Origins, and then I just needed to play some games that weren't Assassin's Creed.
Totally, yeah.
I get that.
And I started playing Spiritfarer, and I was having a lot of fun with that, and then I started playing Yakuza, and then I'm like, well, I'm not going back to Assassin's Creed for a while. I have no rush to play Valhalla or Odyssey or Origins, really.
The only reason I ask, actually, is because I was chatting with a friend about Valhalla. He said he loves Valhalla, but he was saying that he likes Valhalla because of the setting. He really loves the setting.
Yes.
But he felt that the combat was better in Odyssey. Felt it was more fun to play in Odyssey. So I wonder if maybe... Because I know that in Origins and Odyssey they were moving more towards the RPG thing, but I wonder if they've taken it perhaps too far. I haven't played any of them.
That's what it feels
I just wonder
like.
if they've taken it a little bit too far.
That's what it feels... Well, I guess in the same way, like... I don't know, I could be talking absolute bollocks here, but obviously when your person has only got one weapon, it's a lot easier to make that one particular... Or like very set weapons, it's very easy to make those feel... like I don't know, like the fluid, or like the combat can feel very attuned to what weapons you're using. Whereas when you can use like a multitude of weapons, I don't know, maybe that's it. All I know is going from Ghost of Tsushima to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there's a big difference in just how precise everything was in Ghost of Tsushima and how clunky it kind of feels in Valhalla. Saying that though, your friend is totally right. The setting is gorgeous. It like the character. It looks great. The story I'm really enjoying. I haven't got to the whole the future stuff yet. And I always hate it when I get to those bits because they're my least favorite parts of all the Assassin's Creed games. I wish they just stay in the past. But yeah,
I like the future bits.
I used to.
I'm gonna move on. Just because I'm gonna keep playing Valhalla. This is gonna be something I'll be playing over the next couple of weeks, and I'll probably just talk about it every now and then. But that's just my first initial thoughts. I am enjoying it. Combat maybe not so good, but who knows? It could improve. The game I really want to talk about is a game I streamed last night. Is Hades. Completely and utterly deserves all the plaudits that it got. I streamed it for 2 hours and 20 minutes last night, and I could, honest to God, I could have continued playing that for another 2 hours without even realizing it. It is so addictive. It is. I didn't realize how funny it was. Like it's so everything is so witty. The graphics look beautiful. Like it's just, I can completely see why everyone loved that game. Dad was with me for most of the stream last night, and we were just in awe of how good it looked, and how, like, for me personally playing it, obviously combat was so much fun, and I was shitting myself for so much of it. Like, I was literally running away. But like, because obviously it's a roguelite and procedurally generated and all this kind of stuff like that, like, but the stories built into that as well. So you die, and then you see someone, and they're like, oh, you died to this person. Then you get past that, and you die to the next person. They're like, oh, you got past them, but now you died to that person. And then it's like, every time you get to the next, it was such an amazing feeling when I beat the people who kicked my ass the previous times, but after I've upgraded my weapons and stuff. And I can't wait to keep playing it. I'm not going to play it off camera. I decided last night, I was like, no, I'm going to play everything on stream. It might take me a while. It could take me a couple of weeks, but I'm gonna try and do it. I'm gonna play it tomorrow afternoon. I'm gonna try and play it, like, put at least like 4 to 5 hours a week into it. So hopefully within about 2 or 3 weeks I should be done with it. But yeah, I'll probably talk about that more next week.
Is there any talk of those games, of that game coming to PlayStation or Xbox?
No, nothing yet.
It will.
Not I've heard of.
They will eventually, I guess. It's just interesting that they haven't.
It could be maybe a year-long contract with Nintendo. Nintendo is like, honestly, it's the perfect Nintendo game. Like, that I think that's the highest rated game on a Nintendo console for last year, and I completely understand why. Yeah,
because there weren't any others.
Well, I think the other two were Ori and Animal Crossing. The only I think it was like the only 3 games that broke 90 on Metacritic. Were those 3.
Were there any other first party releases last year?
Yeah, there's actually a surprising amount.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. Like, Xenoblade Chronicles was very close to breaking 90. That was
Xenoblade Chronicles awesome Definitive Edition.
Is that a first party?
Pikmin...
Is that a first party game, Xenoblade?
Yeah, they own Monolith Soft.
Monolith, yeah.
You've got Pikmin 3 Deluxe. You've got Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. You've got Paper Mario: The Origami King.
Oh God, I forgot.
Clubhouse Games.
51 Clubhouse Games. Worldwide Games.
Yeah. That counts.
just.
The Tokyo Mirage Sessions in the first.
Oh yeah, I can't believe that's come out. I was looking through the games on the store yesterday. I was like, oh, that actually came out. I really want to play that, but I'm not paying 50 quid for it.
Yeah, exactly. Totally 100% with you on that. But yeah, Nintendo had a surprisingly good year last year, even though it wasn't that good, if that makes sense. It's like, they didn't have any heavy hitters, but then when you actually look at the sales and you look at the numbers and you look at what they actually put out, it's like, it's a B year. They just had a very,
a B year.
It's like a B. Yeah, you did all right. Yeah,
it's a solid B.
Yeah, solid B. That's how I describe it. But yeah, that's enough out of me. Dav, how about you?
Cuphead.
Oh yeah,
it's incredible. I'm in the finale. I'm in the finale. I'm in the finale now. Not right this second, but I'm going to be streaming it after this podcast finishes. Hopefully finishing it, but the finale, dying a lot in the finale, is where I got to in the last stream. My God, this game is probably the best looking game ever. It's so good, and the soundtrack is sensational. Like,
it really is.
I can't put it into words just how incredible the art design of this game is. It's sensational, and like some of the bosses, like there is a bit of an issue with like the difficulty sort of dipping and jumping up. It is always hard, but sometimes it definitely feels like
unbearably hard.
Yeah, this one's unfair because of how like the randomness of that boss seems to work out. Or this one is like, oh, actually, it's pretty simple what you do here. It's just a case of doing it. So yeah, it's an odd balance, but I love it. I absolutely love it, and there's loads of secrets in there. Like one of the very first boss fights, because it's basically loads of boss fights and I think 6 platforming levels. And one of the early boss fights, you're against 3 consecutive vegetables.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, so the first one is a potato, and then the potato has certain things that it tries to do to you. The second one's an onion. Now, once you shoot the onion, it starts crying and like shooting its tears down at you. If you don't shoot the onion, it gets really happy and goes away. But then behind it comes a tiny little radish that starts spinning around and trying to kill you as the carrot is trying to kill you. And it's like, it's just brilliant, that the idea that you don't actually have to shoot this phase, and it actually makes the level kind of harder. But those secrets are like baked into, no pun intended, baked into like so many of the different bosses. And like all the different run and gun platforming levels, you can do them pacifist style. If you do it without shooting or parrying anything, then you get a different grade and you can unlock different stuff. It's just a really well put together game. You can see why it took so long.
Yeah.
But every animation in it is just beautiful. And I mean, I don't really want to spoil it too much, but it has been out a few years. The fight I'm in at the moment, you basically have like 9 different bosses you can fight, and then there's a 10th boss at the end. But you can skip some of those bosses, but each one is a unique boss, all in this one boss fight. And if you do decide to do all 9 and then you die on the 10th one, you start all the way from the beginning. And that's what I'm on at the moment. Yeah. And I'm managing to skip them and stuff like that, but yeah, it's going to be a long haul tonight. Hopefully I can get through it, but my god, this game.
One thing I do like about the game, though, like, because with regards to the difficulty, it always shows you how far you got when you die, and I kind of like that, because I'm just like, because it inspires you to go, oh, I was a little bit,
that stresses me out, man. That just puts me in a bad mood.
But I just want to tack on to what Dab said about the specifically the music. I'm not going to talk about you've spoken enough about the combat. You've pretty much said everything that needs to be said about the combat. Like, difficult, but you can do it if you keep going. The music. So I actually heard the music before I played the game, because someone recommended me listening to it, and I remember listening to it and going, holy shit. This is one, like, this could easily just not be a soundtrack for a video game. This just could be like an album that someone's put out.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome. And then again, the graphics. Whoever decided to go, why don't we do like 1920s, 1930s inspired cartoon designs for this game? And whoever decided that is genius.
And also 1920s and 30s jazz. Yeah. And like there's a barbershop quartet in there. And there's like a gospel bluesy song about being the King Dice. Yeah. And it's just so good.
It's beautiful. I'm 100% with you there, Dav. Anything else, Dav, you want to talk about? Or should we go into the quiz?
No. Actually, the only thing I do want to talk about is that this Saturday, the day this podcast comes out, so hopefully you hear it before 3:30 p.m. GMT. I'm going to be doing a co-stream with Angelo O'Baby, a fellow Twitch streamer, and we're going to be doing some Dynamax adventure raids in Pokemon Sword and Shield, playing together, but also with viewers. So if any of you want to come along, play some Pokemon, we're going to go find some legendaries and maybe even bag a shiny. That would be the dream. That would be the dream. But we'll see how it goes. We're just going to chat and stuff. Some of Angelo's followers are going to come over and play with us, and some of our followers are going to come play with us. It's going to be a jolly old time. Just Pokemon on a Saturday afternoon. What more could you want? Lovely.
Absolutely lovely. Right, should we get on with the quiz? Should we do the quiz? This is the first quiz of 2021. And to celebrate the first quiz of 2021, we're going to look back to 2020. So this is a quiz about 2020, apart from one question, but I just added that question in because I think you'll really like it. All right,
Jonny, can we keep a tally this year?
That would be very interesting.
I say that as the guy who loses every week.
Do you want a tally of every episode or tally of all the points?
Just the episodes, I think.
Just the episodes, okay, right. Yeah, we'll do that, and then at the end we'll see what happens. Right, okay, let me...
It's a good thing I got some Zelda questions put in this one.
Well, this is all about Zelda. All right, so question number 1. So to anyone listening that isn't from the UK, I do apologize. Some of these questions are going to be about gaming in the UK, but it's not going to be that big a deal. You'll still have a chance to guess, I promise. All right, so first question. What was the best-selling game of 2020 in the United Kingdom?
Best-selling game.
What was the best-selling game of 2020 in the United Kingdom? I have 4 answers if you want them, but I imagine you have 4 guesses, so I don't know if me giving you these 4 is going to really help that much.
No, I'm good.
I think I've got one.
All right, you're going to do it on the screen, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter. Dav?
FIFA 21.
Zach?
Animal Crossing.
It's FIFA 21.
God damn it! That's so stupid.
Yeah, I think when I saw that, the top 10 list for the UK is
so
really
bland.
sad. It's so sad. It's like 2 of them are Call of Duties, 2 of them are FIFA, 2 of them are one of them was Assassin's Creed, another one was GTA, and it's like, really? You're like one type of game, UK. Animal Crossing was in there, but then I think that was the only Nintendo game. But yeah. All right. Dav gets the point there. Question 2. Which game had the highest score on Metacritic for the year 2020?
Highest score.
I have 4 answers if you want the 4.
No.
God, I can't even think of games that. God damn it! It's probably FIFA 21.
Okay, I'll tell you now. It's not FIFA 21. Definitely not on the Switch anyway, because it had like scores of 3.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I really don't have any idea.
I'll go after you've guessed. We've found the right answer. I'll tell you the top 4 as well. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, press enter. Dav, what did you go with?
Flight Simulator.
And Zach?
Ghost of Tsushima.
It's neither of those. Although Flight Simulator did have.
Can we have the 4 options before we get it, so we see if we can get it this time?
Yeah, okay, well, so I won't give you points for whichever one you get, but you can see which one you can guess of the top 4. So these are in alphabetical order. So it's Hades, Half-Life, Last of Us Part 2, Persona 5 Royal.
Half-Life Alyx.
It's probably Half-Life, isn't it?
It's Persona 5 Royal.
Ooh, what did you get, like 95?
So Hades, 95 exactly. Hades had 93, Half-Life had 93, Last of Us Part 2 had 93, and Persona 5 Royal had 95.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yep. All right, question number 3. What was the... Okay, so this one I am going to give you the 4 because I can't imagine there's any chance you're going to get these 4 unless you play really bad games. But the lowest review score on Metacritic. I'm going to give you the 4, okay? Because I this is I would never have guessed. I only know 2 of the games on here. So the first one is Dawn of Fear, Fast and Furious,
Crossroads.
Crossroads, yeah. Fast and Furious Crossroads, Tiny Racer. I think it's is it 13 remake or XIII?
Oh, XIII.
No, yeah, XIII remake.
Is that out already?
It did come out this year, yeah. So those are the 4 worst games. But one of them is according to Metacritic the worst game.
For the record, 13 on GameCube is fucking sweet. It's a really good game.
Yeah, I played it on the original Xbox. It used to be a really good game.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm putting it into the context of the time. It was a very good first-person shooter.
Zach, this remake was atrocious.
Yeah, it's atrocious.
Because I saw the trailer and I thought to myself, like, I see that you've vaguely gone in the direction of the remake, but not really, huh? Like, it's not the same game.
Zach, it was fundamentally broken in every single way. Like, I watched a stream of it. It's 30 times worse than Cyberpunk's broken.
Jesus.
Like,
but it's not the same game as the old one.
It is. It's the exact same
really?
game.
It's the same.
But they broke it.
Yeah.
A port would have been fine.
Yeah.
Didn't they say it was
broke
to
the
do
game.
with it was to do with they said it's to do with COVID and obviously being pushed back and like having trouble doing it online, and it's just kind of like we'll delay
Yeah,
it.
that's
Just delay
fine,
it.
but you know what game you're shipping.
Yeah.
Like
All
you know
right,
what state it's in.
Do we have answers? I'll
Yeah.
read them out again. So Dawn of Fear, Fast and Furious Crossroads, Tiny Racer, and XIII remake. Okay, on the count of 3, here we go. 3, 2, 1, press enter.
Dawn of Fear.
Dav, what did you go with? Dawn of Fear, and Zach?
13.
It's Tiny Racer
Oh.
with 29.
Oh my god.
Then it was XIII or 13 remake with 32. Then Dawn of Fear with 33. Then Fast and Furious Crossroads with a whopping 34.
Wow,
Yeah, look at
Crossroads
what
did
Tiny
worse than I
Racer
thought.
is.
Say it again. Zach, what
Crossroads
did you
did worse than I thought, and Zach's having a look at Tiny Racer.
say? Tiny Racer, yeah, he's having a look.
It looks okay. Doesn't look
Yeah.
so bad.
Well,
I
see-
guess it's broken.
It's apparently this. Well, maybe the still pictures are just fine, and they've just taken a picture of the stills, but that's it. That's as good as it gets. Right, question number 4: which game publisher released the most titles in 2020? I have 4 options if you want them. Which game publisher released
I've
the
got an
most
idea.
titles in 2020?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter. Dav, what did you go with?
Xbox.
Okay, and Zach?
EA?
Is Square Enix with 28.
Does that include like different platforms?
Well, so no, so that's individual games.
Oh.
If you include platforms, it adds like another 20 on top as well.
Yeah.
So Square Enix released 28 individual like actual game titles
Sure.
that then also are on different platforms. Then
Obviously,
it was
a
Sega.
bunch of remasters as well. That were in there.
Yeah, a lot of that was remasters. Sega was next with 27. Nintendo was after that with 24,
Wow.
which is way more than I thought. And
They
then
must have
Devolver
published a lot of
Digital
indies.
was 19. Yeah, with Nintendo as well, it includes stuff like the Mario Kart, the actual Mario Kart stuff.
Oh,
they
Mario Kart
released.
Live.
Yeah, Mario Kart Live. All right, question 5. Which game made the most profit in 2020? This includes mobile games. Okay, this does include mobile games. I'm going to give you the 4.
Yeah,
okay?
go on.
Because it's going to be quite difficult to narrow it down otherwise. So you got Honor of Kings, Pokemon Go. Is it PUBG or PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds mobile, and then Roblox, Honor of Kings, Pokemon Go, PUBG, and Roblox. No Fortnite.
Yeah, I actually I typed in Fortnite before you
None on
started because I thought I might be right.
When I was researching it and Fortnite wasn't coming up, I was like, "This is wrong, surely."
It's profit though, isn't it? Not
yeah,
revenue.
So yeah.
I've got a guess.
I've got a guess.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Press enter.
Honor of Kings.
Zach.
I said Roblox.
It's PUBG.
Oh, very good,
2.6
PUBG.
billion. I quite enjoy how they're making a comeback, considering that Fortnite basically stole their idea and made it worse.
Well, Harry, our good friend, plays PUBG and on mobile, and he says it's a fundamentally different game. It's made by a different developer,
Oh wow,
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
there we
and
go.
he loves it.
All right, question number 6. Nintendo Switch, as we've said earlier, was the best-selling console of 2020 in the UK. But what was the second best-selling console in the UK of 2020? What was the second best-selling console?
It's the Wii U.
This seems like a trick.
I don't know.
Wait, what did you? So you said?
So this is just for the UK.
Yeah.
So best-selling console was the Nintendo Switch.
Does that include the Switch Lite?
Yes. Yeah. So anything that says Nintendo Switch, like, is included with the Switch. The Nintendo Switch Lite is always included with the Switch anyway. So it's not a Nintendo console. I'll give you that much.
I've got my guess.
Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Press enter. Zach, what did you go with?
Interesting. I went with Xbox One.
And Dav,
PS4.
it's the PS5.
Wow.
Yeah. Towards the end of I think it was like the last week of December, it overtook the PS4.
Wow.
PS4 was the best-selling console right up until the last week, and the PlayStation 5 had some stock that they sold, and it just beat it by I think it was like 10,000 or something like that. It was very close,
Amazing.
but PS5 which is crazy considering the stock issues. All right, question number 7. And again, I'm going to give you the options for this one. Which of these games was the Christmas #1 for the UK? Unless you just want to guess.
The Christmas #1. Yeah, go on, give them to us.
I'll give you the full. Okay, so again, this is in alphabetical order. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, FIFA 21, and I also, Cyberpunk as well.
I got a guess.
All right, I got a guess.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter.
Black Ops Cold War.
Zach?
Valhalla.
It's Valhalla!
Ah.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla was the #1 game in the
All those
UK
sales.
on Christmas. Yeah. All right, question number 8. Also, by the way, it's 1-1.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's my first right answer, and I know Dav had one. That's why I was relieved to have it.
Yes, it's 1-1. Because I saw that, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, guys.
Dude, it's all good.
Question 8. These games each celebrated their 25th anniversary in 2020, except for one. But which one? Again, this is in alphabetical order.
Yeah, go on.
Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, Twisted Metal, Yoshi's Island.
Oh.
Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, Twisted Metal, Yoshi's Island.
All right.
One of those games did not come out the same year as the others. Did not celebrate its 25th anniversary last year. Okay, do you have an answer?
Mm-hmm.
I got an answer.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter.
Chrono Trigger.
And Zach?
Yoshi's Island.
It's Earthbound.
Ooh.
Earthbound came out in 1994. Every other game came out in 95. Just very quickly speaking about Chrono Trigger, I've been desperately wanting to play that game recently because I've never actually played it, and it's supposed to be really good.
It's interesting. I really want to play Earthbound, man. I watched a review of it recently, and damn, it looks awesome.
That's
so
all I've
cool.
heard. I completely understand why people are just like, give us, was it Mother 3, is it? Or they're always asking for. All right. Question number 9. Name that badly described game.
Yay!
Okay. Hellish experience leaves the player fighting to escape their very own Groundhog Day.
Right, again?
Hellish experience leaves the player fighting to escape their very own Groundhog Day.
All right, I got this.
Video Games Ahoy.
If I'm wrong,
in front of a live studio audience.
If I'm wrong, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, press enter. Zach, what did you go with?
Majora's Mask.
Dav, what did you go with?
Hades.
It's Hades.
What?
It's 2020. It was from 2020. It was a badly described game from 2020.
Fuck, it was 2020. I forgot we were doing a 2020 quiz. Otherwise, I would have said Hades.
Maybe that's what Dav's secret Poopy was all about.
Fuck, I didn't know Hades was like a fucking Groundhog Day thing. I haven't played it. Damn it.
All right, last question before the tiebreaker. Okay, and this is one not related to 2020, but I really enjoyed it, and you'll understand why. Twitter users are currently playing a game online entirely within a user's avatar. Gameloft Montreal programmer Constantin Letard has built a script which changes his avatar every 15 seconds with a capture from this classic game. But which game are they playing? Is it Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy VI, Pokemon Red, or Undertale?
Say that again.
So someone is playing one of these games on their Twitter. Okay, they're playing it through. This is why I thought this is a really great answer. Good question, because it's really funny. They're playing it within a user's avatar. Okay, on Twitter, and people basically say like they have to input like up, down, left, right, all that kind of stuff, and they're directing this person through the game through Twitter. But is it Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy VI, Pokemon Red, or Undertale? This happened like last week.
Question.
This has been happening from last week, so this has nothing to do with 2020. So this one has nothing to do with 2020.
I've got a guess, but I think this might have been a trick question.
Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1, press enter. Zach, what did you go with? Oh, Dav. Oh wait, Zach, what did you go with?
I went with Undertale.
And Dav?
Pokemon Red.
It's Pokemon Red.
Damn it!
They're playing He's playing Pokemon Red through his Twitter, which is, you should check that out if you haven't seen it. It's really it's quite incredible.
I've seen it being done for like live chats, like with a where you basically take the chat from Twitch and you have that input, change the inputs.
Twitch plays Pokemon, that's why I thought it was a trick question.
Did I say Twitch? I meant Twitter.
No, you did.
I did say Twitter,
I thought it was a trick question because of the Twitch plays Pokemon.
Right. Okay, cool. And so this is the tiebreak. Now, Dav, you are winning 3-1. Okay, so if Zach is to get this, we'd have our second tie of the series.
I love that the tie breaks cause a tie.
Yeah. I enjoy that.
But
that helps me.
I really enjoy it because that's the only reason why I tied with Dav last time. So this would if Zach is to answer this correctly, this would be 2 ties in a row for Dav.
Did you guys tie for the Christmas one?
We did tie for the Christmas one. Dav was beating me, and I brought it back with a wild card. Right, okay. This is the tiebreak question. According to VG Charts, how many Nintendo Switch consoles were sold globally in 2020? So for this one, just to make it easier, round it up by 500,000. So either round it up to like a million or 0.5 million, if that makes sense. Okay. So how many Nintendo Switch consoles were sold globally in 2020? This is according to VG Charts, who it might not be 100% accurate, but they've been very accurate with games in the past, so it seems fairly spot on.
Okay.
Do you have an answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know even how many they were sold in like total. I forgot. I'm sure we said it today in this podcast, but I've forgotten already.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, press enter. Zach, what did you go with?
I went with 10 million.
And Dav, what did you go with?
24.5 mil.
Well, it's 27.5, which means Dav gets the points. It means Dav's won.
I lost by a shitload.
I can't believe I won.
Dav won. So just to give you a heads up, this only goes back. So the chart system is really cool for someone who likes stats like me. I'm a stat man. I can look at them all day and I love it. The charts only goes back to 2004, so it doesn't include any of previous big consoles like PlayStation 2, or the other big one would have been Game Boy. But from 2004, so what I can see is the 2 biggest years. Do you want to have a guess? It was for the DS. 2 biggest years. What throw out a number? What do you think?
2010.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm not explaining it very well. It's my bad. So what I was trying to say is 2007 and 2008, the Nintendo DS sold 29 million both years.
Oh, wow.
In a row.
Wow.
Yeah. So according to what the stats that I could find, those are the 2 record holders. But PlayStation 2 could well have sold more. But there's no stats for it, so I couldn't find out. That's it, Dav.
Can't believe it.
Champion.
I want to thank
First champion.
my mum.
Tactical poo break.
This is a bad start for the year.
So tactical poo break wins it for Dav in the end. So I'm going to write down Dav G first win. There we are. So I got Dav down. And that is the end of podcast number 38. Thank you very much for listening today. If you enjoyed the show, then please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Tell your friends and give us a review or comment, because that would mean the world to us. Dav, would you like to tell our listeners what you were told the other day by one of your someone you know about our podcast?
That they love Dav Weeks.
Oh, I was thinking more. We have overtaken the Joe Rogan experience as one of their favorite podcasts.
A fellow streamer has been listening to our podcast. You'll know who you are, and they say that they now listen to us over the Joe Rogan experience, which is a comparison that I never thought would be made.
Yes.
Let alone
I
in our
liked your
favour.
other thing about how your friend likes Dav Weeks more than you.
Oh, that's my girlfriend.
That's his girlfriend.
My girlfriend prefers Dav Weeks to me too.
Yeah, to be fair, I think everyone prefers. I mean, I prefer Dav Weeks to everyone. So he's not here today, but we love him. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. So we're coming for you, Joe Rogan Experience. We are coming for you with our many listeners. But to everyone that contributes to our Patreon page, thank you once again, because without you, we wouldn't be being silly. We wouldn't be being silly.
Not on camera.
Not on camera. And if you would like to support us, then please go ahead and check out our Patreon page, Video Games Ahoy. And if you don't want to contribute and you can't, then that's absolutely fine. We're just grateful for you listening to the show. But check out our Hall of Fame. I say this all the time, but check out our Hall of Fame because that's been a lot of fun. We probably have another episode coming soon as well, which is going to be great. We're all streaming at the moment, so keep an eye out for us during the week as well. Like I said, I've been doing Hades. Dav is going to finish. Well, you would have finished Cuphead by the time this goes out, when you're Dav. So
I'll be starting Pokemon Coliseum.
Pokemon Coliseum for Dav, and maybe we'll see Zach cry at some point soon with Resident Evil 7 VR. And we're also proud to say that we're affiliated with Green Man Gaming, so if you do have any gaming needs, then please check out the description below because that helps us out as well. That's it, gents. This is Video Games Ahoy, and we'll see you next week. Ahoy!
Ahoy!